Okay, I want to welcome you to this, our 18th episode of Compass Games Live, and it's a pleasure to be here. I want to again just send out my apologies to those that are on Facebook. The live streaming on Facebook is not working, so I tried for about 5 minutes during the live feed, and just didn't work. So I just posted on Facebook that you can find the registration link for this live session, this live broadcast, so you can still watch live or join us live. And of course, I'll be posting this recorded session as well once we're done. So without further ado, what I'd like to do tonight is we haven't spoken in 2 weeks. We took the Thanksgiving holiday off the past week, so it's been exactly 2 weeks since we last spoke. And what I'd like to do is basically go through a quick update to the schedule. I'll be very quick this time. And then I want to give some updates on some game projects. And then we've got a big pre-order announcement, which I've told you about already. So we're gonna end with that. I'm also looking forward to our next live broadcast next week. We will be doing another designer interview, so you will not be stuck just with me for the full broadcast. So you're all excited. I'm sure you're all excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and let's share my screen here real quickly, and let's take a look at the schedule. So just one small change, and it did occur in the last few minutes. So I did receive word from our headquarters that we needed to push out our final release of this calendar year just by a few days. Nothing catastrophic at all. We were shooting for this Friday, which would have been tomorrow, the 30th of November. But as you can see from the schedule here in the upper left-hand column for upcoming titles, our last title for this year, it's going to be shipping on Wednesday of next week. So Tinian, that's the third volume in the Marianas campaign series, a very popular company scale system game. You may have seen, I've posted on social media a few pictures of the Tinian components. Everything's basically complete. We're just getting our warehousing and everything ready to start doing mass shipments starting next Wednesday. So again, we're really excited about Tinian. You should be getting a newsletter from us right around now, just to again announce that Tinian is going to be shipping. And we're really pleased actually to end the year on that release. I think it's going to be a very attractive release because it's got a relatively small footprint. It's again, it's the third volume in the Marianas campaign series. The rules have really been refined, plus the standard rule booklet will also apply back to Guam, Saipan. So, and I saw the game, for the first time I saw the game being played at our Compass Games Expo in early November, and it looked great. Everybody was having a great time with it. So if you haven't had a chance to try out the company scale system, that's also where we have the Montelamar game for the West Front. I definitely hope you'll consider Tinian the Forgotten Battle. And that, my folks, is our last release for this calendar year. So it's been a crazy ride. I'm sure I'll do a special year-end review session in December. I'll save that for our last broadcast that we'll be doing in December. And I'll be looking forward to doing that. So again, nothing else has changed in the schedule, as you can see here. So as of the last broadcast I did, I went through the schedule for January and February of next year. Again, the next board game release to kick off the year will be Pacific Tide by Gregory M. Smith. That's a two-player game that also features a solitaire bot system as well. And then we'll have Paper Wars following that. And I'm going to talk a little bit tonight I want to talk about 3 different projects. And these are, I believe these are all projects that I am actually active on. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about a few projects that I have going on because I've got some updates, some stuff I'd like to share with you that I haven't really shown yet. So I'd like to give you a chance to see, and also a little sneak peek at some progress we're making in the early stages as well. So let's go ahead and let's move on over to the first game that I want to talk about. So you all know what Fortress Europa. Have you heard of Fortress Europa before? So I'm asking everybody on. Obviously, we're not on Facebook, so but we've got a good audience. Looks like some people are finding their way. We've got 11 folks already, so you can just use the Q&A button or the chat button, and you can just raise your hand if you're familiar with Fortress Europa, it's probably best known for its Avalon Hill incarnation. So yes, Bill Cooper, nice to see you, Bill. Got Bill Cooper, Greg Johnson, Martin, all raised their hand, said, yep, we know all about Fortress Europa. I haven't really shown anything on Fortress Europa yet, so that's the one thing. So what I want to do is I want to give you sort of a look behind the scenes as far as how we go through a lot of iterations on artwork. You know, a lot of it depends on what kind of look we're going for and feedback we get. So I'm going to share with you something really quickly from our project site. So this is an early draft of the Fortress Europa map. So this is going back a ways, and it was like the first one I could look at to say, okay, now I've got a full map to look at. So just to give you some feedback, and the feedback I provided was, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I mean, it's artistic. You know, artistic flavors are going to vary across the board. But we've done a few things with the map. First, I didn't want to go with very high contrast, vibrant colors on a map. So you can see the green is really sort of screaming out. The brown is screaming out. Switzerland in all red, even though it's unplayable and really doesn't matter in play at all. It seems to take a lot of attention. You probably draw your eyes to Switzerland just because of that big red type. And there are some other things as well. So just small tricks of the trade that I've learned from others is try to also avoid 100% black, 100% white on maps, because it's just too strong. Could be ending up too strong of a contrast. Also, what you can't really tell from this map is this looks like a single map, and what's happened with Fortress Europa, it's nearly two maps joined vertically in portrait mode, side by side, and on the right side we've got a lot of the charts and tables as well, the remaining charts and tables. So again, this was a very early first look at the map, and when I see these maps, I don't have strong really reactions to early work from artists, because I just need a base. I just need some kind of a basis to start from to provide feedback. So given that, you can see this is back in August. Went through a lot of feedback, and long story short here is I'll just go to where we are now. So just to give you an idea of what I wanted to do with the maps, I've seen a few games on Western Europe that use all these greens for clear terrain. I don't know about you guys, I'm sick of green. I'm sick of seeing green for clear terrain color in Europe. I wanted to get away from that, go to a more classic, sort of a more classic SPI look. So what's called the rough terrain in Fortress Europa is actually, in the Avalon Hill version, used the sort of the SPI forest terrain symbol, although it was a very garish green, a very bright green on the Avalon Hill map. And as you can see here, this map is by no means final. We're getting closer. We're actually going to punch up and make the colors a little darker. What you see here is the rough terrain, which for this game, it really represents wooded areas. And then the brown, the light brown shaded areas is the mountain area. And what you don't see here are the alpine hexes. You don't see that. But you can see from the colors, I hope you agree from the colors here, it's meant to be very soft, sort of a softer palette on the eyes is what we're shooting for. And these are pretty good sized hexes, so they're gonna, you know, comfortably fit the unit sizes that we're going with. And of course, we're not doing half-inch counters anymore. They're too small for our eyes. So just wanted to give you a sneak peek. Here's another section of the map as well by Cherbourg. So you can get an idea here. The little dotted circles, the little red and purple in the bottom area by the port symbol, those are some setup areas as well, some zones that are in Fortress Europa that we're providing there. And we got port capacity. You can see the port capacity symbology as well, rail lines, so on and so forth. But I hope you agree, you know, as far as I'm pretty happy with where we are with the maps right now. Again, it's going to be a really nice, you know, 2-map set, very nice treatment for Fortress Europa. And again, the counters are getting done. The fronts are done. So we're still working. You actually, on the Facebook social channel, I asked some questions about markings on the counters as far as reinforcement designation. And I got some great feedback. I think I got over 50 comments back from people. So again, really appreciate when we get feedback like that. It really helps us with the game. So again, just a little sneak peek on Fortress Europa. The next project I want to talk about that's on pre-order. I don't have any box art to show you yet today, but it's the follow-on. It's the companion sister game to our extremely popular Night Fighter Ace. This was actually the #1 selling game at our Compass Games Expo in early November, and it's been selling strong. If you look, if you're on social media, especially like Facebook, we've had a lot of postings about Night Fighter Ace, especially on Facebook, also on Twitter. The Players Aid folks have done some recent work reviewing Night Fighter Ace, etc. So the game's gotten a lot of coverage, and again, it's Gregory M. Smith's solitaire game. Has a really good play narrative, really tells a nice story. So we're doing Interceptor Ace next, which instead of the nighttime raids, it's now daylight raids. So I did have something there I wanted to share with you really quickly. It's not going to be much. It's just going to be much like Night Fighter Ace had the pilot cards and the combat cards. We've got those cards completed now for Interceptor Ace. So these are some of the again, the pilot cards that we have. So I just want to basically just slowly scroll through these cards for you just to give you an idea. If you have Night Fighter Ace already, then of course you're going to recognize these cards where again, it's a sister game to Night Fighter Ace. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel and change graphically. We want to have a consistent look and feel for how the game looks and feels for those that are already familiar with Night Fighter Ace. So that's what we're accomplishing here. Now, this by no means is the back of the card for Interceptor Ace. We haven't done the front box cover yet. So once we have the front box cover for Interceptor Ace, it will replace what you're seeing here. What you're seeing right now is the box art for Night Fighter Ace. So this box art's going to change, and the back of that card's going to change. But then we have all our combat cards. And again, with Night Fighter Ace, this is going to look very familiar to you yet again. These are all the cards. We always try to get the cards done first, so we're looking to get the back covers done as soon as we possibly can, because really the front card face, as you can see here, all these cards are basically done. There's 70 cards total, and they're all done. We just need to have that back cover finished, and then we can send it off to the printers, and then everything else will follow that. So again, this is going to be released in the first quarter of 2019, and I know everybody's excited about it. Everybody's still really enjoying Night Fighter Ace, which I expect will be for some time. So again, just want to give you just a quick update on some of the components for Interceptor Ace as progress is being made on that. Okay, now we're going to do a much bigger unveil of really what's going to be one of our first products released in the first quarter next year. And again, this is another Gregory M. Smith design. It's Zeppelin Raider, Imperial German naval airships of World War I. I've got posted here on the product page, not much really, just 2 of the dirigible displays and the front and back of a counter sheet. And that's all you really have seen so far. So what I'd like to do right now is I'd like to walk you through, and this is a hat tip, by the way, to Olivier Revenue, who resides in France. He's done the artwork for this project, and I want to share with you what Olivier has come up with for Zeppelin Raider. So I'm going to walk you through the various charts and tables, and I think you'll see a very strong theme throughout the game as far as, I think we've upped our game as far as the artwork for our player aids. I personally did a lot of player aids for like the Hunters and other games like that, and they were pretty much generic backgrounds with a single background color. And what Olivier's done is it's really stuck to this theme of World War I, the Navy airships, the dirigibles, and you can see all these thematics coming through. So I really like how it's not a plain Jane player aid card. It's really, I think, a well-crafted player aid. So this is the front of player aid sheet card number 1. It's all around the mission assignments and perhaps some scouting encounters or bombing encounters. You have various missions you can do in the game, and these are examples of the different missions. You might have a scouting mission, a bombing mission, etc., as you can see from that A1 mission assignment chart. I'll go to the back of the first player aid card. This is our infamous aircraft encounter chart. This would not be a good thing. When you're playing this game, you are a dirigible naval airship captain. You don't want to really be rolling on this aircraft encounter chart, just to let you know. So, and I see there's a little, we're fixing the spacing. So I see here, I'll see where the type is off a little bit, that will get fixed so everything aligns properly. those are things that we take care of. We've got some random mechanical breakdowns. Now let's look at the player aid card number 2. Again, you can see behind it the thematic. It's really from the front cover of that burning dirigible, which makes sense because this is the bombing hit chart. This is the damage chart, all the damage table. So that's why we're showing this dirigible, up ablaze as the background motif for this player aid card. So it's showing you all the possible damage happening to you during your encounters. And then on the back of this sheet is you have to resolve the damage. So if you roll for damage, you then have to resolve the damage and see what can be repaired or what really stays damaged and what the effect is. So again, if you've played any games like Untitled Ace or Raiders of the Deep, which is the World War I U-boat game, here's another World War I game, you're going to be really familiar with these types of charts and tables. We also have a weather and mission weather change table for Zeppelin Raider. A lot of flavor and play narrative in the game. Random events chart, so from freak accidents to feel of the air, shed disasters, and lightning strikes. All kinds of, and these are all pretty much historical. Of course, these are all serious historical events that can take place that you're going to be rolling on. Then we have to do all the Zeppelin assignments. So you can get reassigned to a new naval airship as your crew and as you as a pilot, as your captain. As you go up in rank and prestige, you have the ability to also go up and upgrade the type of naval airship you're going to have. And that's what these charts and tables are all about. And they're all, of course, based on historical research of what the exact models were. And of course, we have displays as well for all of those dirigibles. Here we have targeting of London. So when you're doing a bombing mission over London, here you get specific bombing targets that you're going to be resolving over London. And then also here, the different major cities as well of England, United Kingdom, you can see are provided there. Also for additional color, if you want to go ahead and randomly generate your commander's name, or as they say in Auf Deutsch, Auf German, the commandant name. You can, again, similar to what we've done with some of our other games from Gregory M. Smith. If you don't want to think about it and practice, you want to practice your German, we've got a nice little German naming chart here for your commandant name that you can do. And then what's very popular, and this is very similar to what we did in Untitled Ace. You have your, basically you have your commander, you as the commander, your prestige level, your experience level, and all the awards and decorations you're earning during your career, as long as you're surviving, that is, obviously. This is where you track your various prestige levels and as you go up in rank and get awards, etc., which also helps you as you're successful on missions. You can maybe upgrade to a later model Navy airship as well. So again, if you look at the graphics, and from these are just player aid cards, but I hope you'll agree that the graphics, the graphic treatment, and the narrative that plays out on these displays, I hope you really like what you see here. And then we do have also operation maps. So operation maps are very popular, so you have more of an idea of where your operation's taking place. So here for Europe, obviously over London, over England, we have our operations map for Europe. But also, which I think is a great kick, is we also have oh, I missed one. I skipped one, I think. There's one more I want to show you. We have one also for Africa. So let me, I think I closed it by accident. I closed it by accident. I'm going to see if I can find it really. Oh, we have a beautiful display, trust me, that I accidentally just closed. I want to find it. I wonder if I could go recent file. No, it's not going to be there. Maybe it's right here. Maybe not. Nope, not there. This is one of our play mats. So this is an example of all the different airship dirigible models we have as well. But we do have two operation maps. I just, unfortunately, yeah, maybe I'll get it on the website so you can see it there. We also have some special commanded cards as well of special abilities, much like the pilot cards you come across as well. So we have just several of those. So here are the actual historical air commander. These are the naval airship commanders based on actual historical results of how they did, their rank, and their game abilities in the game as well. So as you can see, all kinds of content in the game. I hope you like I hope you like what you see there as far as what we have. As you can see, it's very far along. So basically, all the components for Zeppelin Raider are complete. We're starting the rules layout this weekend, and we usually give ourselves a good 2 to 3 weeks to get the final rules booklet nailed down, and then we're off to the printers, as they say, getting ready for release next quarter. So again, I hope that's something that you liked that I shared today. So let's go back and let's see what we're going to be doing next. So I think we've covered several games already. So what I want to do now is I want to introduce one of our first pre-order titles that we're going to be announcing and unveiling today. So let me go ahead and do that. So, and again, thanks I see all the nice positive comments here from Cole, Jason, Jeff. Thank you for the kind comments about that you liked what you saw there. I'm really happy with how Zeppelin Raiders come together. I think it's just going to be a great release for us. Really excited about it, as well as Interceptor Ace. I wanted to show you those, give you updates on those projects. So I'm going ahead and I'm enabling a page on our website so I can start showing you a pre-order announcement for tonight. So this is where we do the big drum roll, the big pause in anticipation, right? So let's go to our first, we've got a new pre-order I want to talk about tonight. So let's go there now. And it is a design by Steven Newberg, who actually we recently did a box game by Steven Newberg as well that recently came out. So hopefully you're enjoying Lebensraum, that nice 3-map game, World War II. This one, I've actually given a sneak peek on before. It's Once We Moved Like the Wind. This is going to be a block game. So using blocks. Matter of fact, a few months ago, I gave a sneak peek on what the blocks look like on the map. So I want to show this to you for a moment. So here you can see this was from several months ago, early on during the actual prototyping of this game. These are the stickers affixed to the blocks and them on the game map as well. And then I do have another picture here that I'll go ahead and I'll make this a little bigger for you as well, so you get a better idea. Again, this was from several months ago, so I imagine the map's probably been updated since then, possibly, etc. But I hope you like what you see. So yes, we cover all kinds of games, all kinds of topics. We'll get into like to get into some more of the obscure battles, not just Eastern Front World War II. But I hope you like what you see here from Steven Newberg. Very nice looking, very top quality. This will be mounted map. Again, the blocks, etc. Very nice. I think overall a very nice, different type of feel, very thematic feel for the game. So let's go back to the actual pre-order page. Now that we can find it by going to the pre-orders, you'll see Once We Move Like the Wind, the Apache Awards, 1861 through 86, takes you through, basically the main components, talks about the mounted map, the game scale, the different territories. Again, it's going to play relatively quickly. The complexity is only a 3 out of a 10. I'd say it's more of a crossover game. We want this to appeal to those that are just looking for a pure historical game versus a complicated war game with 30 to 40 plus pages of rules. That's not what we're trying to do here. We've got the playing time down to around 2 hours. So again, just meant to be a really colorful, enjoyable, quick playing experience for everybody. So again, I hope that's something you might consider for a pre-order. As far as the anticipated release date of this game, it's going to be the 3rd quarter of next year. So this one's going to be released anywhere 7 to 9 months from now, as we should be shipping this game. So again, I hope it's something you like. I tried to get Stefan for an interview, but he's not really set up to do interviews online. So we'll probably do something in Paper Wars magazine. Or if we get any small tidbits from the designer, I'll be happy to share them on social media as well. So that's one of our big unveils for pre-orders. I hope it's something you're going to be interested in. It's definitely something different. So we're trying to throw something else at you besides monster games and World War II games, things of that sort, of that nature. Now we've got a nice little block game we're throwing out at you. So I've got one more. So we've entered we've entered our bonus round. So you guys have been so good to me and so forgiving for the live session since Facebook sort of crapped out on us tonight. I am going to give you guys another pre-order announcement just because you guys are so awesome. That's why I'm doing it, just because you guys are awesome, no other reason. So let's go ahead and give me a moment, because you know what I'm doing. I'm going to do something on the website to make this happen so we can actually talk about it. And this will be our second and final pre-order announcement for tonight. So let me go back to pre-orders here for a moment and wait for the page to update here. So here we go. So let's take a close look at what we've got going on here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So this might ring a bell for some of you. For some of you really brave folks that have put up with me for already a few months, one of my earlier Compass Game broadcasts was with John Gorkowski. We've had him on perhaps even twice already, if I'm not mistaken. I may have done it actually twice. But John Gorkowski, we did a designer interview. One of our first ones was on Red Poppies. And it's a series, and we're now announcing tonight, you guys are the first ones to know about this. We are doing a pre-order unveil of Volume 3, Assault Artillery. And again, the information is now live. So here's a little bit about the cover. I don't know, this might not be a final front cover for the game. This could be tweaked a little bit, but just a little bit about the game. It's a quite popular series. Obviously I know there's another series, Great War Commanders, doing quite well for World War I, but there's really not too much out there. Long time ago from Clash of Arms, there was Land Ships was done by Perry Moore, but John Gorkowski's really sort of outdone himself with this series. He's really, he's sort of found his wings with the series. He does great historical research on these battles that he ends up modeling. And so now we have, and this is a standalone volume, just like the first two in the series. This one is standalone. You can just purchase Volume 3 by itself, and it's playable by itself. So Volume 3, again, it's got some great historical research about it. You'll see here from 1917. No, I promise you, I will not try to pronounce what the battle is, because I can fake my German. I cannot fake my French. I have no French diction or pronunciation skills to speak of. So I'm not going to even attempt that tonight. But if you would, please check out this pre-order page, because it gives you a good little rundown. And again, John Gorkowski does a great job. He really does a great job with historical research. The actual battle maps are very faithfully recreated with all the research he's done, being tactical level and at the scale of 200 yards per hex, and the different types of terrain. It's very detailed maps. I think that's probably what people like most about these games, is how historically rich and detailed these games are without being overly complicated. It's got some good sexy factor to it, if you will, because it's got two full-size maps and 3 sheets of 5/8 inch counters, which I think most people are really going to be happy about. And it's got a separate scenario book, bunch of scenarios. And again, this will be another Q3. So both pre-orders that I've announced tonight, these are going to be a little bit further along in our as we get ready and what 2019 is looking like. Like you saw already for January, February, we have 5 or 6 titles we've got lining up. We're going to have some coming for March as well that we haven't announced. But you can see we're already, there's people sometimes ask me, how does Compass get games out so quickly? It seems, gosh, I hope you're not rushing. And absolutely, we're definitely not rushing. I promise you that. We have a big, we have a big lead up to our game. So when you see a game announced like tonight, this wasn't John Gorkowski giving us the materials last month. This could have been quite a while ago. I think I showed you Fortress Europa. I announced that a few months ago, and we were already working on the very early editions of the Fortress Europa map back in August, and here we're almost hitting December. So you can see there's a lot of projects, and the nice thing about having such a large pipeline is, things are really staggered when it comes down to it. Some things do need more time, because we don't want to let, we're not going to let a project go out until it's ready. So what's nice here is we're now talking about the second half of next calendar year, 2019. We've got these 2 releases now. and both on interesting topics. These aren't both, neither of these are World War II topics. Beautiful counters. Again, you're going to be really familiar with these counters again from the game series. If you haven't tried Red Poppies yet, please do try the series. I'm not going to recommend one over the other. I mean, people say they're both great. So just, if you want to give World War I a try, please give it some consideration. Just showing you some of the basic counters here that we have. Here are some vehicles, by the way, on this counter sheet. And then the map sheet, we are pretty far out from Q3. So this is more likely than not an early draft of the game map, just so we can give you an idea of some of the terrain analysis that goes into the game. So this is an analysis of one of the maps right here. So that's what we do on our product pages. We'll update graphics as we go. And as you can see, I've got a lot of new graphics I could post now for Zeppelin Raider, because all the components are basically done except for the rules booklet. So with that, I want to see if I can turn to any questions. If anybody's got any questions online, just want to open it up. So let me see here if there's any questions. So far, I'm looking through the chat area, and I don't see any questions, just more or less reactions to what I showed tonight, which is great. Nobody threw any tomatoes at me. So thanks for not doing that. The Q&A's looking good. Thanks, Kevin, for joining. Thanks for heading on over to pre-order Interceptor Ace. I take it you might have Night Fighter Ace already. So I would definitely recommend that. I got to clear my throat for a second. 1 second. I'm getting choked up. You guys are starting to ask me questions, and you're putting pressure on me. So I'm choking up here. So any luck with Gothic Line? Not yet, although I did get a verbal commit to another game 2 days ago that I'm not going to tell you guys. No, I'm not telling you what the new game is, or what the game is that I have another verbal commit on. So yes, we're working on the pipeline is growing. The pipeline's growing very big. So, but I do not have, unfortunately, for Jeff Miller, or for who had asked me that question, I do not have an update on Gothic Line, Jeff, I'm afraid. Night Fighter Ace, yeah, glad you think it's awesome. Geod 91, so yeah, Geod's coming out next. That's our next Paper Wars, and that's also going to be in January. So I hope you're enjoying issue 90. Issue 90 is a really good game. If you don't have it yet, you should really pick it up, because it's an update of MacArthur Road to Baton by Jack Green. Jack's done some interesting games. This was a nice, manageable one mapper, 1.5 counter sheets, 5/8 inch counters. We added, I believe, some solitaire rules to the game while you're playing as the Japanese player for Paper Wars 90, which is shipping now. It was released in, I think it was early November, I want to say. Maybe a little bit earlier. I'll have to check the schedule. But definitely, Paper Wars 91 is really around the corner, to be honest. I think I've got some articles that are due in to the editor, Adam Starkweather, later this week. So things are getting serious right now about Paper Wars 91. So as far as the components for Geod, I don't have anything like that yet. I've got some components to games I want to show you, but I didn't want to do too much tonight. I want to do a little bit more in our December broadcasts. And also I'll be looking to do sort of a highlight, year in review highlight for Compass. Will be our last episode in December before we go off to celebrate the holidays. I do know there's a question from Stephen Pope. Any update on Fold-A-Gap, the company scale system Fold-A-Gap, which Adam Starkweather had announced. He announced that a little over a month ago. We announced that because I had the big Compass Games catalog that listed everything. So that's that night that I had like 9 pre-orders to get through in one night. So when I do that again for our next catalog, I'm going to be taking espresso shots between every pre-order announcement just to stay through it, right? So that's what's going to happen there. We're making good progress, actually, on the second edition, by the way, of Death in the Trenches. So it's a mounted map. And for the mounted maps, we are taking some of our printing overseas for our mounted maps. So we've got some new suppliers we're working with there. So we're making good progress on that. So we should have you should see a date coming from that for first half of next year for sure. So first or second quarter of next year, we'll be deaf in the trenches before the Expo, Console World Expo in June. So we'll have a lot of, if you think about it, we're going to have a lot of products out before June. If you think about it, if you look at our schedule, we've got 5 or 6 new titles through February, and we're not, we haven't covered the other 3 or 4 months after that. Still curious, the questions about Jack Green's Jutland. Yeah, I've been talking to Jack and Chris, who's the Janiak, who's the developer, and we're trying to get some of the scenario rules nailed down right now with Jack. So Jack, recently moved, and he's busy with some other things. So we're making headway with Jutland. Jack is staying in touch with me on a weekly basis. This is a what I would call a true quote unquote monster game, with 15 plus scenarios besides Jutland. Altogether, it can play up to 4 maps with some map extensions as well. Of course, we've got 1 and 2 map scenarios for Fleet Admiral 2, for Jutland Fleet Admiral 2. But obviously, we're taking our time with the game because it's so big, and also we're following Jack's schedule as far as getting final things nailed down. And to be honest, Chris is a really good game developer, so he's very precise on dotting his I's and crossing his T's on Jutland. So we're finding very little minor details we want to have right, and we're running them all by Jack, of course, as the designer, because this will be the last shot at Fleet Admiral 2. The game's not really going to be done after this edition. So, no, putting that positive pressure on us, thinking we're going to have the last shot at this game as a publisher. We want to get it right, and we think the wait will definitely be worth it. I know it will be worth it. If you remember, there's actually 2 different counter sets. One shows just the side silhouette of the ships, like if you were at the surface looking on the horizon. We've got the side silhouette icons of the ships, and then we have the aerial view, ship detail view from the air. So we give you 2 choices with the counter sheets. It's a little... We went a little nuts, we went a little crazy on that one. So it's really excited about that. I don't know too many details about the planned guild for Tai Bomba. I do know there's a World War III game. Am I confusing the title, Jeff? I know there's Stalin's War, World War III, that's being worked on. If planned guild is something different, or maybe it's involving America, like Case Guild was, then that would be something completely different. I don't know much about that one other than we've got Evil Queen of the Skies, which is like B-17 Knight of the Skies from Avalon Hill that Gregory Smith's working on. There's a lot of talk about it right now, and Greg just recently released a video of how to play the game Evil Queen of the Skies. He's done a video on YouTube. I think it posted early this morning, and I'll probably talk about it in a later episode. And we haven't even announced Evil Queen of the Skies yet. So that one, so I'll check Jeff I'll check on Plan Guild. So I can't, unfortunately, I don't have any information on that. I think everything else, though, I think I was able to pretty much give an update on all your other questions. So if there's no further questions there, one new message, let me see. Oh, cool. All right, Jeff, thanks so much. So I want to thank everybody again. Sorry that the Facebook Live didn't work. We missed a bunch of people live tonight, but we appreciate you hopping on the live session. We'll be planning to do this again next week when Tinian will be shipping. So I hope you're excited about Tinian shipping next week. I hope you're interested in the 2 new pre-orders that we've announced tonight. So I'll be updating the schedule. So tomorrow, you'll see the Compass site will mention these 2 new pre-order titles. Then we'll be getting ready to finish out the year. We'll do some more updates on graphics for 1 or 2 games in December. And then we'll do a year in review for December as our last session. And then we'll hit January and February pretty hot and heavy with some game releases coming out pretty soon. So I want to thank you all for joining again. I hope you enjoyed tonight's session. It's been a pleasure for me to be speaking with you again tonight. And I promise next week we'll have a designer interview. So you will not be stuck with me the entire session next week. So that's something right there for you to be really excited about. So again, everybody, thanks so much. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.